How's it going, guys? Today's video is going to just be talking about what is going on with the Lion companion, exactly what the bug is that people are talking about, and how this affects you, especially tanks and supports watching this. There's these rumors at the minute that the Lion companion is bugged, and there's quite a bit of misinformation with people refusing to run with lions in the group or saying that it's stealing their damage or whatever. So I've wanted to try and set the record straight as much as I can, and maybe shed a bit of light on if it even matters enough to be worrying about it. To put it straightforward, yes, there is a bug on the Lion, but it might not be what a lot of people think it is, or as critical as people think either. Now this is obviously going to affect supports or tank players who use this companion if people are going to refuse to run with one in the group, as the Lion companion has been a staple support companion for a while now, and especially for tanks, it's very good at what it does. This guy has a few powers that are very beneficial for the tank, and really the group as a whole, as it helps with damage resistance, threat generation, and a damage buff for the group. So of course it's something that tanks have been running and should continue to run, right? To get to that, we have to look into where the bug is on the companion, starting with this power here, Orlant Roar. It states that it grants nearby party members 2 stacks of Radiant Weapon buff, which gives 2% additional damage as Radiant damage for 12 seconds. And this actually stacks with other lions and even the Lion Mount combat power. As you can read, this is a very good and safe companion to be using in groups just for this 4% damage buff per lion to simply make the team do more damage and get dungeons done faster so you can open those chests faster. But now we look at how that power actually works. The 4% isn't exactly a 4% damage buff in the damage formula, as it is a bonus proc of damage that comes up in the log as a separate hit. This is the part where it brings in the Band of Air to the equation. The Band of Air, as everyone knows, is a highly sought after ring that does bonus procs of damage for a very high magnitude of, I believe, 545, the amount of a DPS encounter power, which has the chance to proc from most hits with a minimal cooldown of something like 1 second. Don't quote me on that. This makes for a lot of damage you can put out with this ring. The Radiant Weapon procs from the Lion can also proc this damage here. Here's where the bug comes in. When the Band of Air procs from the Radiant Weapon damage, the hit Touch of Wind in the logs, which is from the ring, comes up for the owner of the Lion, therefore quote unquote stealing the damage from other players. And this is why people are refusing to run with them in groups, and even worse, buying lions to use on a DPS so they can look like they're doing more damage than they are. That's a long explanation to get there, but I hope it all made sense. Now here's where we address this a little bit. If a support class is running the Lion, why does it matter? The same amount, if not more damage, is being done to the enemies, since the Radiant Weapon is, of course, extra damage, but it also gives extra chances for the Band of Air to proc its damage. In a group, the Lion only makes the runs go faster, even with Band of Airs on. Does it matter if the person with the Lion, being a support character, has higher damage at the end? Of course it doesn't. The only thing it affects, honestly, is people's egos, if the board reflects that they did less damage than they should have. But the damage was still done. After all, this is a PvE game. The board damage shouldn't matter unless it's to show yourself personal improvement, which you can just ignore if there's a Lion in the group. As a tank player, I'm not trying to flex my damage on the board. I'm trying to get the dungeon done faster so I can open my chest and queue up the next one. Let me just go back to the details of this bug. First of all, I do agree for sure that they should fix this, but I really don't think it's important at all. To look at the quote that it steals the Band of Air damage isn't right anyway, since it will only take the Band of Air procs that actually proc from the Radiant Weapon, which, since you wouldn't have the Radiant Weapon procs anyway without the Lion, it means that it's more than likely only additional procs that you wouldn't have got anyway, if that makes sense. All of the Band of Air hits that come from your own attacks still count for you. It's not like the Lion just absorbs the whole power of the ring or anything. In this situation, the Radiant Weapon just allows more team damage total, due to it getting more hits of the Band of Air to happen. Some people have also questioned if it reduces the damage the Band of Air hits for, since if a tank is using the Lion, for example, they have lower offense stats, right? Or it might use the Lion stats, which are also low. This isn't true at all. Ava and I tested this last night, and it's pretty clear that the procs that get counted for the Lion owner still hit for the same amount of damage that the Band of Air users does. So that puts that rumor to bed as well. The damage coming from the Band of Air procs on the DPS is still doing the same amount of damage. And really, I don't think this will be an easy bug to fix, since Ava informed me and we quickly tested it to confirm that the Lion's Radiant Weapon damage does and has for as long as she knew, given the damage to the owner of the Lion. The Radiant weapon never counted for the DPS on the board, and it added to the owner of the Lion, just like the Wheel of Elements fire buff that people used on other people way back in the day. Are we running the Lion to steal damage for ourselves? Of course not, otherwise I wouldn't be running a full character page full of debuffs just to make the DPS do more damage. Like we always say, we are just trying to make the runs faster. Of course, this is all from a support perspective, and anyone out there that is a DPS thinking, oh, I'm gonna get a Lion just to make my damage look bigger, is just hurting the game and the community, since it doesn't help anyone to play with that mindset. It's not like the Lion does a lot of damage for a companion, and I've been told that running 2 Lions can do other sort of bugs, but I've not been able to replicate that to see it at all. All in all, the people running Lions on DPS only to get a bigger number on the board need a reality check and to consider how unimportant that bigger number at the end is. And honestly, same for the people worrying about others using Lions in their group. Just have one person run it and get the dungeon done faster, and you can open the chest and we can all walk away happy. Or you know what? Just everyone put them on. They can stack up to 4 and have even more procs of Radiant Weapon and Touch of Wind. Everyone can just steal each other's damage and get the dungeon done maybe even faster than ever. This was the meta for speedrunning trial content recently after all. But please, for the love of Sayanine, let tanks run this companion if they want. Everyone's going to be running augments probably in a couple of weeks on console, so complaining about this is a pretty shitty way to end the mod, treating these supports that have been buffing your damage for years like they are doing anything wrong by continuing to do just that. Hopefully you guys don't think I'm complaining too much here. I'm just setting the record straight for everyone that's confused on how the Lion bug is working, or if they're worried about running with them in groups. Stay safe everyone, and good luck with moving into the next mod, and thank you for watching.